What if our understanding of mental illnesses, particularly borderline personality disorder, is not entirely accurate? We've all heard of borderline, but have we ever considered its deeper implications? How it intertwines with our perceptions, our society, our very humanity? In this exploration, we'll be venturing into the minds of thinkers like Foucault and Fischer, who dared to challenge conventional wisdom on mental illnesses. So, buckle up for a journey of introspection and revelation. Let's challenge our understanding and delve deeper into the complexity of the human mind. Borderline personality disorder, often abbreviated as BPD, is a mental health disorder that impacts the way one thinks and feels about oneself and others. It's like living on the edge of your emotions, never quite sure when you might tip over. It's a profound instability of self-image, of interpersonal relationships, and of mood. People with BPD often experience intense bouts of anger, depression, and anxiety that may last only hours, or at most a day. These may be associated with episodes of impulsive aggression, self-injury, and drug or alcohol abuse. Distortions in cognition and sense of self can lead to frequent changes in long-term goals, career plans, jobs, friendships, gender identity, and values. Common misconceptions about borderline are rife. Many falsely believe that people with BPD are simply manipulative or attention-seeking. This couldn't be further from the truth. BPD is not a choice, nor is it a moral failing. It is a complex mental health disorder that requires understanding, empathy, and appropriate treatment. The societal impact of borderline is immense. It affects not only the individuals living with BPD, but also their families, friends, and communities. However, it's not all doom and gloom. With the right support and treatment, people with BPD can lead fulfilling lives. They can achieve stability in their relationships, find purpose in their careers, and contribute positively to society. The key to this is empathy. It's about seeing the world through their eyes, understanding their struggles, and offering support without judgment. It's about recognizing that people with BPD are more than their disorder. They are individuals with hopes, dreams, and desires just like everyone else. This is the common understanding of borderline. But what if we look at it through a different lens? Michel Foucault, a renowned philosopher and social theorist, had a unique perspective on mental illnesses. Rather than viewing them as inherent biological conditions, Foucault argued that these illnesses are largely social constructs. Yes, that's right, social constructs. He believed that our understanding of what constitutes normal and abnormal is shaped by societal norms and institutions, and that this categorization itself can lead to the pathologization of certain behaviors and emotions. Now let's apply this perspective to borderline personality disorder, or BPD. Traditional medical models often describe BPD as a disorder characterized by emotional instability, impulsive behavior, and turbulent relationships. However, from Foucault's viewpoint, these behaviors may not be abnormal in themselves, but are labeled as such because they deviate from what society deems normal. So what does this mean? Well, it suggests that individuals with BPD aren't necessarily ill in the traditional sense, but are instead responding to the pressures and expectations of their social environment. Their emotional reactions and behaviors, while intense, could be seen as natural responses to the societal norms and structures they find themselves in. Foucault's ideas challenge the conventional understanding of mental illnesses. They push us to question why we categorize certain behaviors as abnormal or disordered, and what effects these labels have on the individuals who bear them. They invite us to consider whether our societal norms and expectations might be contributing to the very symptoms we attribute to mental illnesses. In essence, Foucault encourages us to view mental illnesses not as fixed biological conditions, but as fluid, contextual phenomena. This perspective invites us to explore the societal structures and norms that contribute to our understanding and experience of mental illnesses. Foucault's ideas encourage us to question the societal norms that influence our understanding of mental illnesses. After all, what we deem normal or abnormal isn't set in stone, but is shaped by the societies we live in and can change over time. Fischer, on the other hand, approached mental illnesses from a different angle. Fischer, a renowned cultural theorist and philosopher, saw mental illnesses not as isolated phenomena, but as reflections of the society we inhabit. He proposed that mental health issues, including borderline personality disorder, are not just individual struggles, but are deeply intertwined with societal structures and pressures. Imagine, then, borderline not as an entity confined within the walls of the mind, but as a mirror reflecting the turmoil and tension prevalent in our society, distorting and magnifying them within the individual psyche. This leads to the emotional instability, the intense fear of abandonment, and the volatile relationships often associated with this disorder. In contrast to Foucault, who focused on the role of power structures in defining what constitutes mental illness, Fischer looked at the societal factors that contribute to the genesis of these illnesses. While Foucault saw mental illness as a label imposed by society, Fischer saw it as a symptom of a diseased society. Fischer argued that the capitalist society we live in, with its relentless emphasis on competition and individual achievement, can lead to feelings of inadequacy and a profound sense of loneliness. These feelings can exacerbate or even trigger the symptoms of borderline, painting a picture of how societal pressures can shape our mental health. Fischer's perspective also highlights the importance of addressing these societal issues as part of mental health treatment. It's not enough to treat the individual symptoms. We need to also address the societal factors that contribute to these symptoms. This perspective does not negate the biological and psychological factors that contribute to mental illnesses. Instead, it complements them by adding another layer to our understanding of these complex conditions. It's a reminder that we are not isolated entities, but are deeply connected to the world around us. Fischer's ideas remind us that our mental health is influenced by the society we live in. So, as we delve deeper into the realm of mental health, let's not forget to look beyond the individual and consider the society that shapes us. Despite their differing viewpoints, Foucault and Fischer converge on the notion that societal factors significantly shape our understanding of mental illnesses. Let's examine their unique views on borderline personality disorder, a frequently misunderstood mental condition. Foucault, a French philosopher, considered mental illnesses as socially constructed. He proposed that societal norms and expectations mold our comprehension of what we deem normal and abnormal. In the context of borderline, he would likely suggest that the diagnosis is a tag imposed by society to control behaviors that deviate from the norm. This perspective urges us to reevaluate societal constructs that promote the stigmatization of those diagnosed with such conditions. On the flip side, British cultural theorist Mark Fisher approached mental illnesses from a more political and economic perspective. He contended that mental health issues, including borderline, are a direct consequence of the pressures and inequalities of capitalism. Fisher argued that stress, isolation, and insecurity, which are prevalent in capitalist societies, can intensify mental health problems. This standpoint encourages us to contemplate the broader socioeconomic factors that aggravate mental health conditions. Foucault and Fischer had differing approaches. Their views are not mutually exclusive. Both standpoints encourage us to rethink our perceptions of mental health. Foucault urges us to challenge societal norms and the power dynamics embedded in the labeling and treatment of mental illnesses. Conversely, Fischer pushes us to recognize the economic and political factors that contribute to mental health problems. Their perspectives implore us to view borderline not as an isolated individual problem, but as a condition shaped by a complex interplay of societal, economic, and political factors. By doing so, they confront the traditional, often stigmatizing narratives around mental health. By re-examining our understanding of borderline and mental illnesses, we can cultivate a more empathetic and informed society. Grasping Foucault and Fischer's viewpoints can assist us in reshaping our attitudes towards mental health, fostering a more sophisticated, empathetic approach to those living with conditions like borderline. Our understanding of mental illnesses, particularly borderline, is complex and ever-evolving. Through the lens of both Foucault and Fischer, we've navigated the murky waters of mental health. Foucault encouraged us to challenge societal norms, while Fischer reminded us of the intricate dance between individual struggles and societal pressures. Each perspective offers valuable insights, yet also prompts further questions. It's a journey of discovery, reflection, and growth. Let's continue to question, learn, and grow in our understanding of mental health.